Willie D Live.
Plus, and the thing about the Teslas also is that, and this is when I went through and test drove all the other cars, nobody's software is anywhere near where Tesla's is. The auto drive capability of Tesla, the fact that I can get in my car, take my foot off the gas, take my hands off the steering wheel, it will drive, stop at stop signs, stop at red lights, take turns, slow down, stop, and so forth, get on the freeway, switch lanes, get on the freeway, off the freeway. No car company even remotely has that type of technology. You know what every other car company has? Enhanced cruise control.
Have you gotten to a point to where you're so comfortable with that auto drive that you can sit like a passenger?
Yeah.
Well, like a real passenger if a human being was driving the car?
See, it doesn't let you do that. So every couple of minutes you have to touch the steering wheel.
Okay.
Right. And you also can't get on your phone and stuff like that. It actually tracks your eyeballs. So if you're looking down, looking away, not really looking at the road, it'll start to beep.
So what's the purpose of it driving you if you can't look away and do something?
Well, because you're not actually, the actual act of driving has been eliminated. So you don't really have to drive. You could just basically just sit there and you watch, and you can check your phone occasionally. You can't just be on your phone scrolling for 5 minutes. You can check your phone, check your email, put it down, and then just go back to watching the road.
What's the wildest thing that you've ever done while that Tesla was driving itself?
There have been some sexual activities that have occurred while I was in the driver's seat. I'm not going to lie about that. That's definitely happened. And let me tell you this. I don't want this to be taken the wrong way. You shouldn't drink and drive. But if you do, you know what I'm saying? I remember, a few weeks ago, after my interview with Stevie J, he invited us to Mr. Chow's, and there were some other people there. We're all taking shots and everything else like that. At the end of the night, I was kind of blitzed. I probably shouldn't have been driving home. I'm not proud of this. But I jumped in my car, I put it on auto drive, and I got home very safely because I really was not driving, barely at all.
So you know what's next?
What's that?
Somebody's going to use that as a defense. Somebody's going to get pulled over for DUI, and they're going to use that as a defense, and they are going to win.
Well, you do have completely driverless cars. If you drive around L.A., especially the Hollywood area where I'm at a lot these days, you have Waymo, which is completely driverless taxis. The car pulls up with no one in it. You get in the back seat. There's no driver, and it takes you to where you need to be.
So you can get in there drunk if you want to.
Absolutely. It's like getting into a taxi drunk.
Yeah.
I hope at some point, by the time my kids get to a driving age, it'd be great if I didn't even have to get them a car. I just got them a Waymo pass, and they could just go wherever the hell they want to go, and I wouldn't have to worry about some pervert Uber driver trying to take advantage of them or anything else like that. They're going to get into a car with no driver, and it's almost like getting on a train. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and plus, the whole robot technology that Elon's working with, he said something that at one point he predicts that this will be the biggest selling product the world has ever seen. Now imagine having an iPhone that has arms and legs. They could do whatever you want. Wash your dishes, walk your dog, pick up your kids, make your meals, make your bed, clean up after the house, I've had Roombas over the years and they've all been relatively useless. But imagine an actual person cleaning your house.
Imagine a robot handling your business for you. I'm talking about somebody running their mouth. You send that robot out there.
It'll happen. It'll happen. Someone get their ass beat by a robot.
Whoop that man. Yeah. Man. Yeah.
I remember there's a show called The Mandalorian on Disney Plus, right? It's basically like the Boba Fett story. The Mandalorian is the guys with the armor and so forth. And every episode is a different kind of adventure, right? So there was this one episode where he goes to this world that's completely run by these types of robots. But what's been happening is that every so often these robots wild out and start killing people, right? So he goes and meets with like, the leader of the world, of this world, and they explain the situation to him and goes, well, why don't you just turn off the robots? He goes, oh, no, we can't do that. People have gotten way too used to not working and having a leisurely lifestyle and so forth. So if a couple people die, that's okay. We just got to fix the problem. But turning off the robots, that's not an option right now. And I think that's going to eventually happen. I think it's predicting where we're going.
We're kind of there already. We're just not talking about live human robots. We're talking about the
cell phones.
Some of the stuff that's happening already. Yeah. People are already, we've already had a few casualties.
I mean, look, for years, when Vlad TV launched around 2008, VladTV.com, the news website, was a bigger portion of our business than the YouTube channel initially. Now, over time, it started to switch. But once AI became more advanced, like I believe it was about a year ago, I had to lay off my whole writing staff because it was just like we could just press a button and then AI will basically create the article for all, for example, like all our videos up until last year had a human writer that would write a summary of that video. You're talking about a lot of videos every day. But now you could just take the transcript from the video, run it through AI, and it does a job that's almost as good, sometimes even better. So I had to lay off my staff. All these people lost their job because AI took over their job. And I'm not necessarily mad at that. I mean, I'm upset that some of these people had been working with me for a long time, and I felt very bad about letting them go. But essentially, not all jobs are going to be here to stay. Technology will take over jobs, and I think trying to limit technology so people can keep a job is not ever going to work in the long term.
No, that's not going to work, man. AI is here to stay. Better get with the program or get left behind. One person that will never be left behind is Vlad, man. He is a trailblazer, man.
Thank you, man.
No matter what you might think, man, Vlad is a trailblazer. And, man, you're doing your thing, man. Keep it up, bro. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thank you for having me on the show, man. Like I said in the beginning, I purposely never spoke about the Farrakhan thing. That you could talk to all these platforms that I've been on, whether it was Breakfast Club or Drink Champs or Math Hoffa or whoever else. I always said, I don't want to talk about the Farrakhan thing. Because when I did want to talk about it, I wanted to talk about it with you. Because you have actually been my friend. Like, when you compare, like, the number of hours we spent in front of a camera versus on the phone is not even close. Probably a 20-to-1 ratio. Like, we have spent hours and hours on the phone over the years, and you've always been 100% solid. You've never deviated. And yeah, you did boycott Vlad TV, but you never boycotted our friendship.
Right.
And that, to me, was the important part. I don't give a shit if someone comes on the show again. Who cares? The show is built on revolving guests anyways. So a certain person not coming on the show has never really bothered me. But the loss of a relationship, someone who I thought, respects me on a level where they're not just using our relationship for a viral moment or a few clicks or a few views, that to me was important. And you've always kept your character when it comes to that. And that's why I think we've always had the friendship that we have and the mutual respect that we have. So,
absolutely.
Thank you for having me on the platform. I'm glad I got to do it here. And when this comes out, it's gonna create quite a stir.
We'll shake up something, man.
Yeah, and that's cool, man. That's cool. And now moving forward, this will not be one of the questions that's off limits when it comes to doing other interviews. I'm supposed to do Drink Champs in the near future and so forth, and we can now talk about that again. And but now that I've talked about it on your platform first, and that to me was important. And I always told you I'm going on a promo run right now, but I'm not going to talk about that until I get on your show. And if you've seen me, I did Cameron's show, I did Bootleg Kev, I did Academics.
Yeah, you've been busy.
I've been busy. Busy. Well, because this promo run is about the Vlad TV YouTube masterclass.
Yeah.
Which we haven't even talked about yet.
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
I'm sorry to not mention that because I know that's a big deal to you.
Well, that's why I'm doing these interviews.
Can you share just some of the nuances of that?
Sure. So this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. About close to 3 years ago, we launched the membership section of Vlad TV on the YouTube channel. So for $5 a month, you get the interviews in its entirety on the first day or sometimes the second or third day, but very early compared to the general public that usually gets it after weeks or sometimes over a month. So we have close to 10,000 members on that side of the business, and that's been very successful. But what I wanted to do was create another tier, which is the Vlad TV YouTube Masterclass tier, which is $100 a month. And that is where I break down how I built my YouTube channel and how I've maintained my YouTube channel over the years. And I think I counted, one of the promos I did, like I've made over $30 million on YouTube over the last 18 years. And I wanted to share this information because a lot of people hit me and say, hey, I'm trying to do what you're doing. How do I increase my channel? How do I get my viewers up? How do I get my views up and so forth? So I'm like, well, instead of trying to help individual people, let me actually create a system where we have lessons that break down what it is that I did. So there's a lesson about how I started the channel and some of the philosophies I use to this day and some of the things that also didn't work. There's an episode about how to book celebrity guests. Because if you look at every successful YouTube channel, every successful podcast, it relies on having guests. Like your show now, right? This is not a monologue that you do every day. Right. This is based on getting people like Cat Williams, getting people like myself and so forth to kind of get people engaged. So there's a whole section about how to get guests. And also, I think the important part of that episode is like the level of rejection that you have to deal with, even at a high level. That sometimes we'll contact 100 people and not get a single response. But then when you get that one response at 101, it's all worth it. There's a whole section about equipment where we show a $100 setup that'll get you a relatively good video and audio quality video. And then we show a $40,000 setup in our Vlad TV New York studio. So this is what you could aspire to. And there's also there's an episode about how money is actually made on YouTube. So I actually show so for the first time ever, I actually show the financials behind Vlad TV. So I showed how a single video made over $50,000. And I actually showed the YouTube numbers and showed exactly why it did that and how it's not always reproducible, but it can be reproducible.
Is that the most you've ever made on a single video?
About that, yeah. I'm sure you've done better with that with the Cat Williams interview, but
I did a little something.
There's an episode about how to keep videos monetized.
Yeah.
So I show how I have a video with porn star Sarah J that over the past year made got 100,000 views and made about $4. And then a video, because it was demonetized,
right,
versus a video with like, let's say Mano, who got 100,000 views and made like $450. So when you think about that, right, when you think about how huge those numbers vary, imagine spending a year making videos and you can either make $10,000 or $1 million off the same videos. That's the difference when it comes to monetized versus demonetized. 10,000 versus $1 million off the exact same videos. And we even show ways that YouTube doesn't tell you about that actually could remonetize a video that got unmonetized. There's a new video that coming up next month where I actually show how the membership system works. And I'll show you step by step how I built up my membership, where it is right now, what built it, and so forth. We have that. Every month, we have an exclusive interview with a successful YouTuber, and that part of the interview is not available to the public. So the first episode was with academics, and he explained how he built his channel. The next episode that's coming out is with Gilbert Arenas, where he shows how he makes $20 million a year off of a YouTube channel he launched 2 years ago. And he actually breaks it down. And I remember at one point, I said, do you make more money off sponsorships than, YouTube? He said, oh, definitely sponsorships. I said, well, how much did you make off YouTube last month? He goes, I don't know, let me check. And he pulled out his phone and he shows it on the screen and showed $300,000. Right there in real time.
So he made pretty much $20 million off sponsorship alone.
The sponsorships, he said, makes about $1.1 million a month.
Oh, we need to talk.
Right. It's a real episode. It's about to come out.
Yeah.
It's about to come out. But he also But he also explained how he did it. He said before he got into it, he looked at the landscape, of sports, and he realized nobody had a live show with actual experts on it, not on YouTube. So he built a whole studio in his home, got his cast together, and every day, Monday through Friday, they live stream for 4 or 5 hours a day, as well as getting big guests and everything else like that. But they take it seriously. And that's how he built it up over time. And also twice a month, I go on live just for the master classes. I do a YouTube live where I specifically answer people's questions and I review people's YouTube channels right there on the spot.
Yeah.
Now, look, a lot of people could say, well, what Vlad is offering, there's public videos on YouTube that say essentially the same thing. Well, here's the difference. None of those YouTube channels come from a level of success that I've consistently had over 18 years. It's a little different when someone who's got 6 million followers and makes millions of dollars a year is telling you about specific things than someone who's got 30,000 followers and is trying to build a business around teaching people when they themselves have not really done it. I have actually done it, and I've continued to do it year after year after year. It's like when I do like No Jumper, like Adam refers me to like the Godfather of YouTube. I think that's kind of a cool title because it's like I really was there in the very beginning, right when YouTube launched its partner program. I was there, and I've consistently grown it year after year. Nobody in the space has done that. Yeah, there was a Ski TV, and I think All Hip Hop had a YouTube channel, but you look at these channels now, and they're essentially almost non-existent. Nobody has millions of followers and gets this type of impact year after year, consistently, without missing a single year. And this is what I'm trying to impart. And this is why it's $100 and not $5 or $10. Like if you're serious about what you're doing, one lesson alone will make you thousands of dollars.
Right on.
So that's the Vlad TV YouTube Masterclass. If you go to if you go to youtube.com/Vlad TV/join, choose the Masterclass option, and join the community, man. Like the number of members have really surpassed my expectations. I didn't know how many people were going to be willing to pay $100 because I've never asked for that amount of money for my viewers before. But we've had a lot of members. The lives are always packed. Like I'm always like having to just try to get through everyone's questions and so forth. And in general, people have been very happy. And something I'm going to continue to kind of keep pushing.
There it is. Keep pushing.
Yeah.
Those are the operative words. Keep pushing.
Keep pushing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vlad.
Yeah.
No more talk.
No more talk.